If you like your racing cars to sound like the god of thunder treading on a drawing pin, you won't like the noise made by this, Peugeot's Le Mans winning 908, because it sounds rather like a vacuum cleaner. And the reason for this is because it runs on diesel. As dreary news goes, though, this isn't as bad as it could be, because the diesel engine in question is a 5.5-litre twin-turbo V12 with 730 horsepower and nearly 900 torques. That is a lot. And it means that even with a wing the size and length of a cocktail bar on the back, it can still reach over 250 miles an hour on the long Le Mans straights. The combination of speed and the fewer pit stops demanded by diesel economy mean Peugeot was a dead cert to win the 24-hour race in 2007. Except it didn't, because Audi fetched up with a diesel car that was even faster and even more reliable. The French plan didn't quite work in 2008 either, but by 2009, Peugeot got their act together to take a 1-2 Le Mans finish. Normal service was resumed in 2010. The Pagani Zonda, a car which proves that in Italy you can wake up one morning, drink one too many espressos, tell the world you're going to make a car as fast and as good as a Ferrari, and then actually go ahead and do it. This particular version, one of a baffling array of Zondas over the years, is the Cinque, a road-going version of the feral, track-only Zonda R. It's always puzzled us at Top Gear how Pagani makes its cars so good. Yes, they put in the effort by inventing a new cocktail of carbon fibre and titanium called Carbotanium. And they managed to persuade Merck's power-crazed AMG division to build them special V12 engines. But that's not enough on its own. What Pagani really understand is that a supercar should be loud and dramatic, and fast enough to make your eyeballs turn to putty. They also make cars that are incredibly easy to drive. Many men in sheds try to make supercars, and they get it wrong. But Pagani, as we see here, consistently gets it right. Very, very right. Eventually, all TVRs will break down, and now so has the company that made them. That's a shame. Nothing was a bad idea at TVR. They tried to reinvent the door handle. They made front wings that appear to have been attacked by a mad axeman. They got the company dog to help with the styling. Obviously, there was no guarantee that your TVR would start of a morning, and even less of a guarantee that once it was going, it wouldn't attempt to fling you into a field of sprouts. But the insanity was just part of what made TVRs so special. Given their inability to make anything work properly, it was yet another example of their madness that they made their own 4-litre straight-six engine. Still, in a car this light, it meant 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and a top speed of 185 miles an hour. TVRs were the snorting, grunting, swivel-eyed lunatics of the car world, and were somehow worse off without them. Spyker was a Dutch company that went out of business in 1925, apparently. Don't worry, nor its financial troubles, nor even that there was a motor industry in Holland. I'd always assumed they had other industries to be getting on with, like flowers or cheese. But then, a Dutch millionaire got bored with having too much money and bought Spyker back with cars like this, the C8 La Violette LM 85. It has a 4.2-litre V8 engine from Audi and a chassis that was developed with help from Lotus. But the really interesting thing about Spykers is the way they look, which is like nothing else, and their interiors, which are like something else, although in most cases that something else is an explosion in one of those shops that sells jewellery and expensive luggage. Spyker's millionaire owner says that's what people want, and presumably he's right. Because when most restarted car companies fail within 7 minutes, Spyker is now doing so well, it recently bought Saab. This cross-eyed curiosity is a Morgan Aero Supersports. As with all Morgans, much of the structure is made from wood. And if that sounds laughably old-fashioned, well, it is. It's also still made in the Malvern Hills of England in a factory so caught in the past that when a propeller aircraft passes overhead, half the workforce jumps. Surprisingly, the engine in this car isn't made from mud and leaves. It's actually a BMW V8 that makes a rather modern 368 horsepower, allowing this half-timbered sports car to get from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. It'll even run on to 170 miles an hour before its Edwardian aerodynamics prevent it going any faster. I said sports car, but in truth, this is as much a sports car as Westminster Abbey is a top-class rock and roll venue. This isn't a car to compete with modern Jaguars or Mercs or anything beyond. It's a strange time warp for people who believe cars should come with built-in nostalgia and a special kind of hat. And if that hasn't put you off the Aero Supersports, you should know that there's also a version with a fixed roof, one of which is owned by Richard Hammond. The idiot. This is not just the greatest car Mercedes makes. Right now, I think it's the greatest car in the world. It's more powerful than a Ferrari 458, it's a little bit louder than a Lamborghini, and it's way more fun than the 911 RS GT Turbo 3S or whatever this week's Ultimate Beetle is called. This is the thinking men's supercar, the Mercedes SLS. The engine is AMG's own 6.2-litre V8 linked to a flappy paddle double-clutch gearbox that sits at the back for perfect weight distribution, so that it feels as though the entire car pivots around your bottom. It does a lot of pivoting, if truth be told, because while it can do huge distances in great comfort, what it is at heart is a shouty, snarly, tail-happy, gull-winged lunatic. And that is why I love it.